All right, everybody. It's Andreas Hale, Senior Combat Sports Writer at the Sport News, and I'm here with Ricochet, who is wrestling Logan Paul at SummerSlam in Detroit. Ricochet, before I get into any of this, man, I've been a fan of yours for a extraordinary long time. Back when you had long hair and you were thin
Yes,
as wind. Back in the Indies, the PWG era, and everything else. The old days. The reason why I want to bring that up is you get to this moment where you're having this huge match. I don't know if it's the biggest match of your career. I don't want to go that far, but going back to that time, going back to your early days of wrestling, like what were your early goals? What did you want to accomplish? Everybody wants to get to the WWE, but what was your ultimate goal back then when you had the long hair?
Honestly, like even like when I first started, I think I was just wrestling because it was fun. There was like a group of dudes that like were like invited me to like do this thing that it was so cool. I've been watching it for so long anyways. Because I started like training at 14. So like I didn't think I'm going to do this to become a WWE. Yeah, that was not my goal. Because I didn't think a 14-year-old kid from Paducah, Kentucky would be in the WWE. You know what I mean? That was not my goal. It was just literally to do something that I love to do and I just had a passion for. That was kind of just why I started doing it. But when I started like on the indies and stuff, I had like a little bitty list of like, I wanted to like be flown somewhere and I wanted to like have an action figure and I wanted to like be in a video game and I wanted to like do these like little, I say little goals, but at the time, but now being here and having kind of accomplished most everything that I originally had set out to do, basically, it's like you said, it's just been a wild journey to see, the start from the starting point to where I'm at now. And now it's not even close to being the finish line. You know what I mean? So It's cool to see. It's cool to see that. Absolutely. To take a step back and reflect and see where you've come from.
One of my favorite indie shirts that you had, I think it was the Wrestling is Art shirt that you had. I bought it. And I still wear it because wrestling is art. When did wrestling become art for you? Because everybody treats it differently. But I think the aesthetic style that you wrestle with, it's an artful form. We'll talk about the Will Ospreay match, some of the matches you had. But when did you realize like you have something different that other wrestlers don't have to offer?
Well, I mean, just growing up and watching like Spider-Man and watching Dragon Ball Z and all that stuff growing up, you just mimic what you kind of see. And so watching wrestling and then watching all the other stuff that I did, it's like I just wanted to combine that into like one character type, you know what I mean? And then especially really when I got to Japan, I guess, and seeing how they go about it and how they just go about the entire business, really, that really helped change my views rather than just like how I go about matches and how I go about doing that type of stuff. And then honestly, when I got to like NXT and working with like Sean and Hunter and then being down there with a lot of those guys and seeing how like Johnny and Tommaso and the story they were telling, and then like some of the stuff Alistair was doing and the stories they were telling with him, and it's like, we were all trying to like basically, and like Marvel was getting popular at the time too, like the movies were getting popular. So we were trying to all do our matches like we would, like Ricochet, I can ask anybody. When I think of match, I think, okay, what would Jackie Chan do? I think, okay, what would Jackie Chan do? That's how we Ricochet, kind of thing. So you just take what you like and what you see, and then I just kind of mold it all into one. But you can also tell wrestling is an art because look at like the comedy wrestling is way different than like, Japanese strong style. But someone likes both, but someone only likes one. It's just, there's so much that goes into wrestling. Wrestling can be angry, it can be sad, it can be happy, it can be jovial, it can be whatever the situation at hand is. And that's the beautiful thing about it.
Man, for you, being growing up as a kid, like when you watch like anime and Dragon Ball Z, and you try to emulate that stuff. Like I can't do that stuff, man. I can't do any of that stuff. What do you remember the first time that you pulled something off and you was like, yo, I think I'm a superhero. Like I can do stuff athletically that other kids can't do. Do you remember that moment?
I mean, I think because I was telling somebody the other day, I would just go in my front yard and just drill over and over, like trying to go backwards, literally doing the side backflip, literally to the side, not even going backwards. I think just to break the mental block of going backwards, I would do it for hours, every day, hours. And then as I, did it for a little bit, I'm doing stuff on trampolines and I'm at school doing flips off bleachers and stuff and everyone. And I'm like, okay, so this is something that I guess I can just not latch onto, but this is something that I can dig into. Because at the time as a kid, I didn't really have many people to like, oh, we see that, let's go with that and let's do that. It was kind of just all me. I kind of took the initiative and did the thing, you know what I mean? So I guess I saw that, like you said, I saw that when I'm at school and I'm doing a flip or I'm doing, backflip off the bleachers or something off the table and off the wall. And I'm like, people are like, oh, that's crazy. And I don't want to say it's easy because obviously it's not easy, but like I'm doing it all day, every day. So it's kind of just second nature for me. And so I'm like, okay, so this is something that I guess not abnormal, but not everyone is doing. You know what I mean? So then I got to just with that.
Yeah, then how does it incorporate into wrestling? Because all right, who is somebody that you?
Well, I mean, you grow up
like,
watching Rey Mysterio and Jeff Hardy and Psicosis and Juventud Guerrera. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? You grow up watching these guys. Obviously, like The Rock will always be my forever number one, forever. But like my influences are like AJ Styles and like, in the indies, you had like Jack Evans and Matt Sydal and Amazing Red. And you have, on Nitro, Chris Jericho's doing lion salts and stuff. You have all these guys you're emulating, you know what I mean? And I had already done the flips. I just never thought to be a professional wrestler until, these guys asked me to come hang out with them. And so I just used what I had already been doing the flips and stuff. Again, like you see Jeff Hardy's doing a flip off something, you're going to go do a flip off something. That's kind of where that kind of came in. And that's kind of just been the stuff I've always been like attracted to, is the flips and the spectacular, just anything spectacular.
Man, real quick, what are your top 3 animes of all time?
All time? See, that's so difficult, but I guess I would have to say Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, and the third one fluctuates a lot. But like it'd be hard to not go Naruto just because of the popularity. But if you're asking me, I like Yu Yu Hakusho a lot. I like one called Hajime no Ippo. It's like a boxing one. It's pretty cool. There's a number 3 kind of fluctuates. But also I like My Hero Academia, but I know that's kind of the newer one. So going like all time, that's kind of difficult to put that one up there. Then obviously new ones like Attack on Titan and all those, Jujutsu Kaisen. But for me, it'd probably be Dragon Ball, One Piece. Those 2 are for sure 1 and 2 for me.
How much
and
do you
3 kind of fluctuates?
How much do you incorporate anime, not just wrestling, but into your gear as well? Because I've seen some of your gear is inspired. Yeah, like inspired by so much. But how dope is it when somebody notices what you've incorporated and where it came from?
It's great. Because again, it's a cool community, because everyone always talks about when you were younger and you're in school and you're watching these cartoons and everyone's making fun of you. It's like not the popular thing. But now that we're all like kind of older and we don't care anymore, we're still doing it. Like it's just a cool community of people who now are unafraid to like show support for something that they like. Either way, so it's cool to just have those nods or those little, compliments and stuff. Because that's obviously the subtleties while you do it. You want to give, everyone a nod of like, this is cool or whatever. Or at least I think it's cool. Some people don't think it's cool, but I love it. I think, anything you can draw inspiration from, and obviously superheroes in general, anime, like it's colorful, it's bright, it gives people, it pops. It's cool to see when it's like flying through the air, like the colors and stuff. So there's just a whole bunch of reasons why I like to do that. But again, especially just having those influences, I think is the main reason. You just grow up watching it and you want to emulate it.
Now for you, I mean, being Black in this industry and being somebody who likes comic books and being somebody who likes anime, like we were outcasts growing up. We didn't feel like we fit in. Then in the wrestling world, we're outcasts because we don't see anybody that looks like us or likes the same things that we like. Who's been your biggest, I don't even want to say inspiration, but who saw that you helped break down that wall for you that shows that you can show this side of yourself in a wrestling ring? I know the New Day have been huge with that, but
yeah,
is there anybody else?
I feel like the New Day, they definitely helped with, as far as, how do you say, I guess just not personality, but like the gear represents, I guess, the personality as far as doing what will connect. You know what I mean? So they definitely were like trailblazers as far as like that goes, especially with the gear. Their gear since day one has been all time, you know what I mean? But then obviously like in the NXT, like Gargano had a lot of really cool, Johnny had a lot of really cool, but then obviously like everybody knows Rey Mysterio's coming out as a Flash, Rey Mysterio's coming out as Silver Surfer, Rey Mysterio coming out as Wolverine, Rey Mysterio coming out. Obviously Rey Mysterio was a big, again, influence and he's my number 2 all time. So, right, him and Rock are 1A, 1B, whatever, So he definitely has been a guy that I don't like, he set the bar for like where, like what I want to do, things I want to do, So Rey Mysterio has been a huge influence as that, especially like, again, with the gear as a kid, seeing him come out with some of the heroes gears like Captain America and stuff, the stuff he did was definitely inspiration for sure.
So SummerSlam, what can we expect with your gear for SummerSlam? Because I know you're not playing.
Oh man, I got something kind of. It's pretty cool. Again, it's something that I've watched since I was a kid, and I just love. He's a character that I like. I don't want to give it away. I will say he's not anime. He's not anime.
Okay.
And it's. I want to try to give a hint, but I don't know.
Is it a cartoon? Cartoon.
It's been a cartoon before. Absolutely, it's been a movie. It's a cartoon. You wouldn't tell me. I want to give a hint, but I can't give any hints off my head without just totally giving it away.
Okay, but it's something that people will recognize if they see it.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm not going to guess. I think I might have an idea, but I'm not going to guess.
I don't think you got an idea.
Damn. All right, fine.
And it's been a cartoon. I will say it's been a cartoon. Again, I don't want to like overstate like how long it's been a cartoon, but I want to say it's probably since late 80s, early 90s. It was a cartoon.
Okay, we're going right.
That's all I can say.
All right. Now I'm just gonna wait and see now. I'm looking forward to this. Let's talk about the match, man. You and Logan Paul. This is one of the most anticipated matches for SummerSlam. Obviously, everybody's talking about it. But going back to the Royal Rumble spot, and I know you've talked about it a million times, but when that spot happened, the reaction happened, did you know that you guys would eventually be, maybe not at SummerSlam, but there was a match brewing because the crowd exploded for that spot?
I think, again, not that I knew anything was going to happen or whatever, but when we collided and we come down and we're sitting there in pain and you can hear like, because it was like a rumbling. It felt like it started and then it grew. And hearing that, like, it's like, okay, you do think there is something here. There's something here between us. Like, but other than that, I didn't have any other thoughts. But other than that, like, there is obviously some sort of chemistry between he and I. So in that moment, I didn't necessarily think, oh, there's going to be stuff. But I did think if there is, there's something here for sure.
How did that spot come together?
I mean, you just got a couple crazy people thinking of crazy stuff. trying to, you know, get everybody off their feet. You got guys in the back like Hurricane and Jamie Noble and all these creative minds. You know what I mean? It's just, and then especially with me, everybody always is like, they'll just be passing me like, oh, I had an idea. I thought maybe Ricochet could do it. You know, they're like, I can't do it, but maybe Ricochet could. And then like, you know, usually if I do something, it's because I got an idea from somebody else. And usually, yeah, everyone's ideas are for me because they say, well, I can't do it, but I thought maybe you could.
And then you go out there and do this. So this match,
I said, I'll try. I guess I'll try.
Bro, I don't think you failed at pulling off any of these spots left. Like every match, it's like, what is he going to do next? And this is why earlier I alluded to the Ospreay match. Like this feels like it could have that kind of element to it. When you and Will Ospreay worked the New Japan match, there were some people that were like, oh, it felt choreographed, but most of the people loved it. Most people that never even watched wrestling before loved that match.
Yeah.
That was wrestling as art. I'm not saying you out here trying to make art with Logan Paul, but it feels like you have somebody that you're working with that has that same kind of concept of let's try to outdo something that people have never done before.
That's funny enough because the Will Ospreay match, we weren't trying to do anything. We just planned a match that we thought was cool. We had no extra thoughts about it. We didn't know it was going to be what it was. We were just putting together a match that we thought was. We've wrestled a couple of times before, so we just kind of took stuff from all those matches and just made a match. You know, we literally had no clue what it was going to be. And that's kind of at least me how I always go about stuff. Even with this match, I specifically am not like, I'm going to go out there and top anything that I've done in the past, because I think that's where people kind of start to mess up. And that's where they try something too big or something. I just, you know, Ricochet, I think, has elevated the expectations of himself, especially, you know, hopefully everyone else, but especially of himself. So now it's about consistently keeping that expectation. You know what I mean? And I think that's my mentality going into these matches. It just so happens that sometimes it's just crazy.
I mean, it just seems like, I don't know how many times you get out there and do something and the person that you're working with is like, I can't do that. It feels like Logan Paul's and one person be like, I think we can pull that off. I think
at least try it. I like that. I mean, I think he's the kind of guy who just likes to send it as well. You know what I mean? Like, let's just send it and try and see if we can do it. And I think he's just kind of always had that mentality, whether that's like, you know, something physical or like business or whatever. His mentality is to just like, do it, just send it. And so, I mean, that's perfect for this business too. You know what I mean? This business is go big or go home kind of business. So you got two personalities like that, two guys who are mad athletic, two guys who are willing to go out there and put their bodies on the line to give the fans something crazy. I think absolutely this match is going to be fun. It's going to be an adrenaline rush.
How excited are you? Legitimately, how excited are you?
Oh man, I'm so excited. I'm so pumped. Detroit, I mean, it's going to be great. SummerSlam, one of my favorite since I was a kid. One of my favorite PLE since I was a kid. Man, I'm super excited. And, you know, I hear him talking. I hear rumors and stuff. I hear everybody talking. Like, if we're going to be first, like I said, we be first, I'll send him. He can go straight to his brother with a loss right off the bat. I don't mind. You know what I mean? They both lose. It's fine. 2 L's, one night, you know.
I was about to ask you that. Who's more likely to win, Logan or Jake on Saturday? Or they're both taking L's on Saturday?
I mean, Jake's most likely to win out of the two, for sure. But if they both take losses, hey, I'm okay with that too.
You do realize that this is a mainstream story outside of just pro wrestling. Everybody's going to have their eyes on what happens with you two and what happens with Jake just a few hundred miles away in his boxing match.
Oh yeah.
So
the audience alone between those two, like collectively, like is mad. Like I understand. So it's the eyes on not just our match, but like his as well. Like it's crazy. It's really crazy.
But you do want to send him packing with that.
Absolutely. And honestly, wait till my partner Braun Strowman comes back and me and Braun will smack both of them if he wants. I smack Logan and he'll smack Jake.
Well, last question, man. It's we talk about your career and everything that you've accomplished and everything that you've done. Is there anything? I mean, there's always more to do. But what is the one thing that you want to do that might not be like high on everybody else's scale, like winning the world championship? Like that's high on everybody's scale. But what's the one thing that you want to do that people would not expect that you really want to do before your career ends?
One thing I will do is win a Royal Rumble.
Okay.
I'm winning a Royal Rumble.
Why the Royal Rumble? Because of the opportunity, because of the prestige that comes with winning the Royal Rumble?
All of it, the opportunity, the prestige, what it gets you, but also just showing like, I feel like one thing that the Royal Rumble, it shows is the will, the determination, the guts, the what you're willing to go through to accomplish something. You know what I mean? The Rey Mysterios, the Shawn Michaels, like, you know, doing it all. You know, I don't got to be first and do the whole thing. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, if I come out first, that's my, I'll, you know, if I come out first, I still plan on winning. And I feel like with what Ricochet is capable of doing, I feel like that's no problem. But I feel like the Royal Rumble, especially if you come out early, it shows that tenacity and just everything about what it takes to win. And I don't know, it's always been my favorite event, having everybody out there, you know, fighting over something. I mean, I love it. And obviously, like you said, everyone wants to be world champion and blah, blah. And I'm sure everyone does want to win a Royal Rumble for sure, but even more like, I want to win a Royal Rumble.
Cool. Before I let you go, I've always thought Ricochet is one of the coolest wrestler names ever. It's so reflective of who you are. When you came to the WWE, were you concerned that they were going to try to change your name? Were they like, no, this is it, we're going to leave you as you are?
They were pretty accommodating, actually, because I had already had it, you know, trademarked before I came in. And so basically Hunter even said, he goes, a couple of things that, he goes, I would have a list of names just in case. So I had a list. I can't even remember, but I had a list of names. But he goes, it comes down to like two things. One, like legality, can we use it or whatever? He's like, but if you've already had it trademarked or whatever, then that's no problem. He goes, and two, it's just going to come down like whether or not Vince likes it or not. Because if Vince doesn't like it, then we might have to change it, you know, whatever. But again, I think it is different. Like I said, when I first started, I wanted a two-name name. I wanted like a John Cena, Randy Orton. I wanted like something like that. Couldn't think of anything. But now that I'm here, I do like that it's just one word. It's just one tag, Ricochet, boom. And like you said, it really explains, like, if you had to say, oh, you got to watch this guy, he's a wrestler, his name's Ricochet, you would already kind of, oh, okay, well, that kind of puts an idea of what this guy's capable of doing. You know what I mean? So, and it is different. It just sounds different. It sounds cool.
And if you put it on the cover of a comic book, it looks good.
And if you put it on the cover of a comic book or like a T-shirt, anything, yeah, it looks cool. So I'm really glad that I stuck with it. I'm really glad that they happen to like it. I'm glad that they, you know, saw the value and how cool it is. So I'm really glad I got to keep it, because it's really I've been the same since day one. Since October 11th, 2003, I've been Ricochet. Obviously, other than like little bitty things here and there, but like my main story has been Ricochet my whole career. So it's been cool.
Perfect. Well, Ricochet, thank you, man. I appreciate your time. Good luck next week. I'm looking forward to it. It's funny, I'm actually going to be at the Jake Paul fight because I cover boxing as well. I know, but I will be watching SummerSlam from my laptop. I will say what's up to Logan with his loss before the fight. And I mean, they know this. I watch wrestling from my laptop while I'm at boxing events. It's just what I do.
Yeah.
So I'll be watching your match and I'll be looking at the ring as well. So good luck with whatever happens in your match. And then I'll see what happens then. And hopefully we can talk again later on.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, man. Good luck on everything.